Morning everybody, welcome to Solo ReacTalk. This morning I'm going to be reacting to The End and the Death 3, Horus and the Emperor Clash, voiceover part 3, made on the DQVO YouTube channel and requested by AnthraxCrab2222. If you guys want to check out the original video as well as DQVO's YouTube channel, the links are going to be in the description below. And if you want to check out my previous reaction to other Warhammer 40k content created by DQVO, the playlist card is going to be at the top right here. Yes, this is my continuation of the DQVO marathon. And yeah, let us continue with part 3 of The End and the Death, Horus and the Emperor Clash. 3, 2, 1, go. The Emperor and Horus clash.
When you clash with your father, the whole world shakes. Just as it should. This is the moment that changes everything. It is the culmination of your everlasting day of days, and it will decide everything that comes after. It is only right that the world should tremble as it witnesses an act of such exceptional significance. You have longed for this confrontation, but dreaded it too. Is it possible to want something so much, and yet loathe the thought of it ever happening? The question is academic. It is happening. There is no easing into it, no courteous test blows and probing jabs to gauge the other's qualities before the fight begins in earnest. He simply charges you, raising a shield of psychic force in front of him, like the prow ram of a war galley. A backward step or a sideways evasion are not options. You could stand your ground to meet it. You drive into it instead. You answer charge with charge. Your father must understand from the outset that he will not enjoy a dominant role in this duel.
He doesn't need to enjoy a dominant role. The Emperor he's been playing 4D chess with the Chaos Gods for a very long time, where they have the upper hand almost every single time against the Emperor. And somehow he's been able to keep them at bay. So he clearly understands on how he's going to be able to subdue you and defeat you. He doesn't have to have all the power. You can have all the power, but if you don't know how to use it appropriately and strategically, it is pointless.
You meet force with force, summoning a battering ram of your own that reinforces your forward refractors with immaterial potency. The impact is catastrophic and numbing. As to your question, well, the Emperor must die. This is the only course of action left to you. You had to assume that it would come to this. You know your father's intractable character too well. That's why you set your lures and prepared this beautiful trap, and why you laid in wait in a blind of self-induced amnesia. The Emperor must die, and only you can ensure his death. You declared to your sons that this would be the inevitable outcome. You made a boast of it. The Emperor must die. It became their war cry.
Death to the false Emperor!
Your skull jolts and you smell blood in your nostrils and your throat. Your psychic weapons mutually annihilate as they collide, and they do so with such force that the shockwave levels the psychoscape around you. He's knocked back by the collision. You are not. You hold firm. The Emperor must die. But you are his son. You undertake this deed with regret. A son should not have to kill his father.
Don't worry, Horus. This is a family curse. You know, this is a family curse that has existed for a very, very long time. Ever since your uncle killed, or wait, no. Could I call him a grand uncle? Yeah, ever since your grand uncle killed your grandfather and your father killed your grand uncle. Yeah, ever since then, it's been a family curse. It hasn't left you guys, and you shouldn't be too, ashamed, really. This is just what is expected of this family, to tear each other apart for reasons unknown. Or, yes, known. Those reasons are also known sometimes, but sadly, this is just a part of the family business, to kill each other.
You had hoped that it would turn out to be a mistake born of misunderstanding. You would see, at the last, that you could not be turned from the path you had chosen, and should not, for that path was sublime. It would be a revelation to him. He would stop, he would submit to you, and this would all be avoided.
Right.
You even gave him the chance. You did. More than once. Just like your angel brother. You gave him every chance to admit he was wrong. You offered him the opportunity to accept his error and surrender. Indeed. And this is a mark of your maturity and restraint.
Maturity and restraint. Right.
You would have embraced him if he had done so. You would have embraced him unconditionally. You would have forgiven him and willingly provided him a place at your side as part of the Cosmetolorian order you have forged. A place of high honor. You had a throne waiting for him.
And when you guys get into an argument, next thing you'll be like, he has to be killed now. I have to kill him now. Yeah, no. Horus, no. Whatever you are imagining in your mind, it was just not going to work. It just wasn't.
But he didn't submit. He didn't surrender. There was no revelation. Worse, he considered you a lost cause. He didn't even bother to decline your offer. He didn't acknowledge you at all. His war sword sweeps at you in a slicing cross. You parry it with your maul, a thunderclap. But you remember Thecla Secundus and the tricks he taught you there. The slicing sword is only half of the movement. Even as you smack it aside, his claws are punching up to crush your ribs. Your talons slap them away. You show him you have not forgotten the techniques he taught you in those 30 sweet years. You hope it might make him recall. It doesn't. He ignores your playful reminder of the tight bond you once shared. Just as he ignored you when he marched into your court, and just as he refused to acknowledge your generous terms for his submission. You are angry and hurt, scorned, indentured, ignored, disowned. The Emperor will never change, so the Emperor must die. And you must be the one to put him down. Though he is your father, and you didn't want it to end like this. He has left you no other choice, and now you have something to prove. Yourself. This has become more than a formality of execution. He will acknowledge you before you kill him. You will make him confess the sins he has committed against you. You are not some enemy to be illuminated or Xenos threat to be extinguished. You have accomplished more in your brief centuries than he has done in his entirety.
No. Look, I am not one of the biggest Emperor supporters. But on this part here, Horus, no, I'm with the Emperor 100%. He has done more for his dreams and his ambitions for humanity than you could ever imagine. You know, his activities and his initiative has resulted in your creation, Horus. So whatever you say here in terms of you did more than he could ever have done, that part, no. I'm sorry, I'm with the Emperor on that one.
You have outdone him. You are his superior, his successor, his heir.
No, you're no longer his successor. The successor now is Robute Gilliman. The heir to the throne, or the heir to the Imperium of Man, is Robute Gilliman. You have been replaced.
You're going to get that recognition. You're going to make him look you in the face and with his last breath, scream it. A downward slash, you sidestep and swing for his head. He has anticipated, of course. You would have been disappointed if so obvious a blow had caught him unawares. He turns into it and catches the head of your maul in his claws to block it. A small supernova is born from the impact. He holds on, pinning the maul's head, and thrusts his warsword to exploit your open guard. Your talon seizes the stabbing blade, twisting it aside, then releases to rip off his head. He ducks clear, the talon merely scoring the edge of his refractor field, but he's forced to let go of your maul to achieve that clearance. You whirl it, pressing him, landing one strike low that his shields stop, then one high that he fends away with a back slap of his claws. You let the momentum of the fending slap carry the maul backwards instead of fighting it, then convert it into an underswing loop that brings Worldbreaker back into his left quarter guard. It catches him in the sternum on the upswing. There is a satisfying flare of overtaxed shields, and an even more satisfying thump as he is briefly lifted off the deck and forced back on his heels. He's strong. You're stronger. You reflect as he stumbles away so gratifyingly that this is what you want. Of course it is. Only the trace residue of your human self, that tenuous relic of what you were before, has raised any qualms in your mind. You are a god, and the world operates in submission to your will.
Since when have you become a god, Horus? You're a hired employee of your superiors, and your superiors are the chaos gods. I don't understand how you became a god. Who told you? Who decided that you're a god?
When you drew up your plans to confront him, you knew damn well that this would be the consequence. Whether your old self had the stomach for it or not, you made this happen. You are a god, and gods don't make mistakes. You decreed this, and it has come to pass. It is the right thing, because you decided it was. As he rocks back, you make the Thekla Secundus move yourself, because he has just used it, and he will not expect you to mimic him. His warsword blocks Worldbreaker inches from the side of his head. His claws are not fast enough to stop the upward scission of your talon. The tips collapse his thoracic shielding, short out refractor fields with a squeal of air, and shred across his ribs and chest in a shower of sparks and auramite shavings. Lucky. He was lucky. If you'd been a fingertip closer, the talon would have snapped his ribs like sticks and punctured his lungs. It is wise to remember that you are a new god, and still learning how to be what you are.
Right, excuses.
No one ever told you what it would be like, because no one's ever done it before. That shred of human soul, preserved within you as a memento, is struggling to appreciate the decisions that your theandric will has made. That dissonance is uncomfortable. Tell yourself that the greater, wiser you has made the right choice. No one has told you to do this. No one guided you, or tricked you, or persuaded you. The old
No one?
or who watch you and lavish you with gifts never asked for this, or
I'm sorry. Erebus is the one who gave you this option. Erebus is the one who told you that I have a connection with the Chaos Gods. They are willing to support your cause. It is the hand of destiny. If it weren't for him, you would be dead. Wow. Erebus, Horus is like, nah, I did this all by myself. I had no help. Wow. Not recognized for your hard work. It's so sad. Erebus, I'm so sorry.
compelled you to do it. They barely speak at all. This is your decision. The gifts they have supplied allow you a great insight, although you have yet to fully trust it. You still cling too closely to the comfortable human perspectives on which you once relied. You must unlearn them. You are a being of chaos. You are chaos.
No, you are a thrall of chaos. You are not chaos, but you are a petulant child.
You are everything that power and property allows you to be. You can see the maelstrom nature of chaos. It has no logic or sequence or syntax. There is no reason or unreason, no right or wrong. Chaos allows all things to be, despite their contradictions and incongruities. Chaos permits everything. So when your old self asks if this is what you want, the answer is not yes or no. It can be yes and no.
This mental gymnastics you are doing, Horus, really, it's so funny.
You can long for something and dread it in the same breath. You can want it and loathe it in the same instant. You can love your father and decide to kill him. You can yearn for his acknowledgement and respect, and resolve that the Emperor must die. These are not incompatible feelings or antithetical ideas. Within chaos, there can be no heresy. Embrace him as he attacks you. Delight in the crime of striking your father, of seeing the blood spurt like sea spray. Rejoice that he has disowned you. Love his hate, and hate his love. Throw yourself into this deed wholeheartedly. Know no fear. He is the most potent human in the galaxy, by some magnitude, and he comes to your court at the peak of his powers.
Well, not really at the peak. He's lost a considerable amount of it, I think.
Relish the unthinkable. Slay your creator to prove yourself. Accept that you have secretly always wanted to. Victory will win this war, but it will also demonstrate your fitness to rule. The king is dead. Long live the king. And with the bloody mark of your hand, you signify it. Your supremacy will be unequivocal. No one tells you what it's like to be a god, but this obligation forced on you by your father's arrogance. It provides you with an unparalleled opportunity for self-discovery. This is your proving ground. You will learn how to be a god. Fully, by testing your limits and potentials against the only real measure that exists. Just like your sons, sparring in the practice cages, you will become better and learn about yourself and hone your talents by lethal rehearsal against the only worthy opponent. He rotates out of the impact of your talon, and the pair of you start to circle. He's trying to build a little space and a little motion, as though he intends to fence with you. His sword is at a high guard, shoulder height with the tip aimed at you. His claws are curled in front of his hip, where one would hold the partner dagger for quick parries. He makes a rapid lunge. You sidestep and the blade goes past your ear. He thrusts again, and you turn out from the blade as it misses you a second time. The third lunge, which you were expecting, comes at your throat along a center line. You were anticipating the thrust to the gut, because you remember the compliance of Carthay, where you observed his ploy against the Ulwir Afesh paladins. 2 long thrusts at the head to bring the guard up, then a third to run in under at the exposed abdomen. You had slightly lowered your guard in expectation, but he keeps the stroke high. His blade spears through the aegis of your mesial refractors in a strobing shriek, and only the resistance of those puncturing energy skins slows it enough for you to effect a hasty deflection. So, the old man is adjusting his tricks because he knows you know them. You would have been disappointed if he had made this too easy. But you are also annoyed. He has you on the back foot suddenly, marginally off balance due to the haste of your reflexive deflection. He presses that lapse urgently, now striking with the edge of his blade in hacking saber strokes. You try to peel away, taking blows across the side and shoulder that dent your layered pauldrons, and slice sheaves of servo muscle. You manage an inefficient parry with your maul and then are pushed into a skeeve. The warsword turns back the counter-assault of your maul, but his lightning claws have found your chest, and they discharge, point blank. The blast hurls you backwards through something, a bulkhead, perhaps. Materia shatters around you like ice. He won't give you a second to recover. He redoubles his assault, the sword lancing at you in a heart-stabbing thrust. He has charged the blade with such power, the ancient runes engraved on its fuller are glowing like stars. He's good.
Yeah, he's the Emperor.
Magnificent. You had forgotten the brilliance of his technique. It is not your father's power, which is modest compared to your limitless supply. It is what he does with it.
Yes, exactly. Like I've stated before, you are more powerful than him, but he has been fighting against beings that are far greater than him as well, and that's the Chaos Gods. He's been playing 4D chess with them for a very long time. Thus, he knows how to, keep very powerful entities at bay. And, when he finds an opportunity, he will exploit it and, either deceive or destroy his enemies. So watch yourself, Horus.
You manage, just barely, to block his thrust by means of a necromantic shield that bends the sword away into an adjacent plane of the warp. He burns the shield into scorched gossamer with an angry flash of his eyes. His claws lash in to skin your face. You hammer Worldbreaker into the deck, bouncing the debris scattered around you into the air. Then, with a nod, hurl it all at him like a horizontal rockfall. He throws up a talismanic barrier with a deft gesture of his clawed hand, and the psychic ward stops most of it. His sword bats away the larger chunks that tear through the ward, all except one lump the size of an anvil, which cracks against his left pauldron and knocks him askew. His guard is wide open for a moment. You plunge into that gap with your talon as straight as daggers. He makes a deflection, slightly unrefined but successful, cracking sparks off your wrist guard with his blade that pivots you out of the optimum line of address, so you club into his plastron with the butt of Worldbreaker's haft, jar him off step, then let your grip slip to the base and loop the maul at him with full extension. His parry is particularly impressive. He parries your swing with Chthoniya. You are on the flat top of a dirty rockcrete parapet above a stagnant spillway.
What? On Chthoniya? Did you guys teleport? Or what?
The radioactive glare is as harsh as the stink of the place. He is making his riposte, warsword glinting in the ionizing light. You knock it back, Then you pitch ruthless blows at one another as you move along the lip of the decaying bulwark. Did he think that the memories of your wretched childhood here would prise open your guard? Manipulation of the psychotexture to wrong-foot you is an impressive trick. No. Great gods. This is Chthonier. He hasn't just refashioned the psychoscape of your court as a makeshift weapon. He has shifted you both across the 3 dimensions of physical locality and the 4th of temporal placement. This is Chthonier, the hinterland of the Athenat exhaustion, where the territories of the Catalan and the Justarian clans meet in dispute. This may be the very day on which you were found. He could see your surprise. He pushes in to exploit it. You hammer away a series of aggressive sword strokes.
So he's using like a psychological attack on Horus Lupercal. Well, he's been doing that ever since they began this fight. When Loken, revealed himself as being part of the Empress, party that is here to defeat Horus. So yeah, psychological attacks, physical attacks, psychic attacks, everything, and the Emperor is using everything. Yeah.
In pulling off this trick, he has revealed his understanding of your domain. Not just your court, but the wider realm of chaos that inevitably surrounds it.
Yeah, he has more knowledge and experience when it comes to the warp and all facets that deal with the warp. More than you, Horus. God.
He has grasped that everything and everywhere and everywhen meets here, in your isochronal nexus, conjoined by the warp, and thus that everything and everywhere and everywhen is accessible. It's not your father's power, it's what he does with it. Yet, for the sake of an impressive parry, he has given away 2 crucial secrets.
Oh, and what are those secrets?
First, the true extent of his warpcraft, which means that your psychic duel, already running alongside your physical conflict, must now take precedence. The second is his shameless cruelty. Chthonier wasn't a clever parry to avert your hurtling maul. It was a cold-blooded riposte intended to wound you. For reasons you cannot quite determine, your father seems to have no emotional core. Perhaps the damage done to him as he fought his way through the vengeful spirit was more considerable than you thought. Perhaps he is injured more grievously than he appears. Perhaps that is why he seems so cold.
I mean, anything is possible. If there's also one thing I know about the Emperor is that he never reveals his true self to anyone. So anything is possible.
And why he refused to acknowledge you. His first found son.
Hey, you still believe you're the first found son? Oh, okay. Publicly, yes, you are. The first found son.
But you do possess a vital emotional core, and he knows it. Because he gave it to you, and now he seeks without remorse to inflict wounds upon it. Wounds as deep and critical as a blade to the heart or a hammer to the skull. He seeks to hurt you where the marks will not show, tear you deep inside, stab you through the soul, and bleed you out until you are too weak to defend yourself, and he can finish you. By any means necessary, Whatever it takes. This is a low blow.
So?
Unsporting, a dirty trick.
So? He'll do anything that is necessary to win. How do you think he's been fighting against the Chaos Gods this whole time, Horus? Oh gosh.
It hasn't worked, of course. Because the Athenat exhaustion simply serves to remind you how far you've come, and what you've achieved. It is amusing to think he believes this causes you any kind of pain. And it tellingly reveals a third truth, too. To stoop so low, to attempt something so intentionally callous. Your father must be desperate.
Yeah, he's desperate all the time.
He is backed into a corner, and he is trying anything and everything to keep you at bay. You renew the vigor of your assault. Your maul batters at his plate and refractor fields. The echoes of those impacts ring from the forlorn walls and polluted spoil heaps of your foundling years. He cleaves back with his war sword and scythes his war claws. You make your riposte. The Himalaya, the roof of the world that was, a fierce blue sky and fiercer cold.
So they are now on terror.
He reels from the counterattack, and you slide together down a steep slope of powder snow, exchanging blows at close quarters. You show him you can fight as unscrupulously as him. These are the soaring peaks that his pride will level. Let him contemplate a lonely death here, unmourned and unmarked, surrounded by the snow-capped emblems of his titanic hubris.
Unfortunately for you, the Emperor has suppressed his emotions. He's not going to feel anything.
He does not waver. He maintains his rate. Not a hint of gapping in his guard, driving you down the blinding white flank of snow, ice crystals swirling around you like winter breath. His sword seeking your heart, his claws hunting your throat. You stop the blade with Worldbreaker's haft, lunge with your talon, he parries you with Istvan V.
I like this battle.
Still white hot and smouldering from your victory. The air is dense with virus smog and organic ash, and the ground beneath your feet is a solid black of fused ceramite like a toppled frieze.
And somehow you're still going to blame the Emperor for what has happened to Istvan V, when it was you, Horus.
Depicting battle brothers at war. Perhaps he can illuminate you. How is this supposed to hurt? He did this. Not
I knew it. Oh my gosh, Horus. Oh, I knew it. I knew you were going to blame him. And I'm sure you're also going to blame him for Istvan III.
You. The atrocity is his fault, and with your next blow, you show him why. Moloch. Yes, Moloch. Nothing but a festering darkness in which falsehoods whisper and lies breed. There is the faint glimmer of the gate through which he once passed, to make promises he would break, and to steal a fire that he would covet for himself. Here is the stink of true betrayal, of old gods antagonized by a solemn pact dishonored, of secret truths and dreadful insights that, in defiance of all reason, will never be shared with the sons who love him.
Well, yeah. And also, not really, because he did share the power with you guys. All the Primarchs have a slither of chaos, powers in them. Not only is the Emperor your father, but the Chaos Gods are also your fathers. Yeah.
This is the birthplace of all deceit. From this source came all the fundamental doctrines he should have taught to you and your brothers. The knowledge that would have fortified you and protected you and allowed you to build an interstellar culture on solid foundations. He taught you nothing. He let you go out among the stars, ignorant and vulnerable. This place, more than any other, epitomizes the toxic privacy that has dominated his behavior. The selfish, acquisitive greed and the abject lack of trust he has shown to his own flesh and blood.
Well, yeah, he also showed the same sort of lack of trust with humanity. He believes that he alone should know everything, and he alone should be the one to save humanity from the darkness. And he's thought like this ever since he killed his uncle. It flipped a switch. And he decided that the only way humanity is going to exist is if I lead them. So it's not just because you guys are flesh and blood. He's just been this way with humanity since day one. Yeah.
To you. He names you betrayer. He declares you traitor. He believes your descent is heresy. But heresy requires a truth to oppose. Hypocrite. The truth was here all along, but he kept it from you. This darkness is a testament to his obsessive, hermetic indifference. He betrayed you and your siblings and your sons. The fire was meant to be shared. Instead, he used it to ignite a war.
I don't think you want to share chaos power, Horus. I don't think so. I mean, look what it has done to you so far. No ways.
He let the galaxy burn. Moloch seems to shake him like a solid body blow. As his guard slips, you block his sword and spear him to the core with a beam of bloodlight that lances from the unblinking eye on your chest blade. He writhes on that skewer of red rage. It has punctured his soul and amputated 900 years of his life. You keep him pinned with the beam, still bleeding years in an arterial torrent.
Whoa.
And you open your talon, raking him with incandescent lightning. The lightning, drawn from the deepest storms of the Empyrean, fries his flesh and roasts him alive. His agony is profound. He tries to tear free, but neither the bloodlight nor the lightning will let him go. You increase the fury of both. They destroy him. He explodes in a cloud of white ash. Nothing.
Wow, okay. Horus, you think you killed him? That's nice. Oh, alright. But I've seen something like this before. In fact, it was a demon that tried to swing a sword at the emperor and he vanished. And he appeared behind the demon and he stabbed it in the back. I suspect something similar is about to happen.
Thing remains but silence. You step forward. Some of the ash drifts back across you, dusting the contours of your warplate. Nothing remains except a patch of vitrified ground. Are you done? It can't be that easy.
It's not.
You unfurl your mind sight and survey the intermingled territories of your realm. Yes. Not done at all. Across the planes and layers of your day of days, the propagating duels of your psychomachia are still raging. On Istvan V, you are cracking his golden plate with Worldbreaker as he sears you with bolts of immaterial power. In the lost Himalaya, he pursues you down a sheer incline of green ice and black rock, lacerating your face with his relentless warsword. In the abandoned workings beneath the Athenat exhaustion, you hang back and mind-goad mobs of Catulan, Justarin, and Helbore gangers to swarm him in a blitz attack. White fire blazes from his irritated eyes as he blinks one to atoms. Then he blinks again and annihilates the rest in a swath of flame. You behold them all, every facet of this psychic duel occurring simultaneously. In some, like Mohenjo-Daro, where you spill his blood on the mound where that great city is yet to be built, or Kasserundak on Cadia, where you pin him to a Noctilith pylon with your talon, you are clearly winning. In others, like Goro Scrapworld, where he herds a war of Xenos brutes with his will to rend you limb from limb, or Tizca, where a spark from his mind has just set you on fire, he has the upper hand. In others, like the court, where you still slug it out hand to hand, or the mirror-finished field of triumph on Ulanor, where you both stand frozen, face to face, Your minds locked in furiously silent thought war. The contest remains in the balance, and the outcome undecided. Here, on Molech, you have simply concluded one bout. You have killed but a piece of him. Except there, and there. Those bright spots on the ground. Splashes of the years you bled out of him. Coagulating puddles of days and droplets of hours. The trail leads away. Not dead. Not dead. After all. He merely sacrificed an aspect to end his agony and cover his escape. You follow that trail, picking up speed. Spatters of his life lost drip from the black rocks and quiver on the dirt like beads of mercury. He is wounded, hurt, hemorrhaging years in grisly quantities.
How do you know it's him? If all of these scenarios that you are fighting against the Emperor are also just an aspect or a slither or a shadow of the real Emperor, how do you know that the one you are following right now is the real Emperor? Hey, good luck.
If you had spilled so much lifetime, you would be dead. But lifetime is the only thing he has more of than you do. He will be weak, though dizzy, close to bleeding out unless he can tourniquet his leaking soul. Where does the trail lead? To the left? Into the burned desolation of Macragge? No. The right. You unfold yourself and step into New Byzantium, just before the Pan-Pacific annexation. The speckled trail leads into an echoing stretch of Calth's underworld, then doubles back into the hull-wreck wastes of Talon, where you struggle to detect it in the blowing dust. You persevere, and track on between wind-blown longhouses on an island off pre-strife Albia, where frightened faces watch you from behind rush shutters. The traces are clearer here, marking the grass. He hasn't been able to staunch the flow. How is he still standing? You see a wet handprint on a standing stone where he leaned to catch his breath. You step into a longhouse and into another facet. Crusade-era Davin. You look around the dim stone chamber and bring Worldbreaker up. You will turn here, surely. This is a good place for an ambush, for the name itself has intrinsic power over you. But no. Nothing. So you pull aside a curtain and step into the rose-red colonnade of a Selenar compound on Luna. The fine Chalcedony arcade is bathed in earth light and utterly silent. When is this? Before unification? It doesn't matter. He fells you from behind with a thought blast, and as you roll and try to get up, he lifts you in a telekine vice and puts you through the colonnade wall.
The Emperor has you, Horus. You are thinking about things that are just unnecessary. It's distracting you, and he's getting you through surprise attacks. Messing with the wrong guy.
Quartz shatters. You land hard. Not so weak then. Not so hurt.
Exactly. Don't assume anything like that. Don't assume that he's weak. Don't assume that he's running out of power. Just don't. It's a big mistake. Because he is just acting. He's lying to you.
He leaps at you through the hole torn in the wall, his warsword swooping down. He nearly takes your arm off. You block his follow-up stroke with the head of your maul and lash at him with your talon. He evades. His eyes light up, projecting twin beams of phosphorescent light that burn into your chest and slide you backwards across the quartz-littered floor until you ignite the eye on your breastplate and counter his power with some of your own. Your stream of roaring bloodlight entangles with his beams of white mind fire.
It's like, what Superman movie was it again? Oh my gosh, I forgot. I think it was Superman versus Batman. Yeah. And Superman was fighting against a Kryptonian genetically created monster with his, laser eyes. And it also had laser eyes, and, they were fighting against each other with laser eyes. But then the mutant won against Superman. So something similar is happening here between the Emperor and Horus.
Where they touch, the energies conflict in a vortical lesion where materia screams and immateria bubbles and deforms. You take a step forward, driving your energy against his. He holds his ground, braced. You take another pace. The pitch of the energy scream increases. Another step. The howling intensity reaches critical. A swath of the immaterial fabric between you both annihilates, and the real space threads woven through it explode. The shock pulse knocks him backwards and shatters the facet of lunar around you. The violent fractal shift leaves you both in a dank, nameless cavern somewhere, with the fireball of the conflagration still dissipating between you. You charge through those flames, maul raised. He throws another thought blast at you to drive you back, but it's poorly formed and merely grazes off your shields. Worldbreaker puts a sizzling dent in his refractors, so deep his ailing reactor surely cannot maintain function much longer. He drives his war sword through your left shoulder. You smack him aside with your maul. His sword is wrenched out of you as he spins away, blood trailing from the fuller. Each impact is luring odd echoes out of the acoustics of the old cave. Echoes that swim around the natural calcite columns, the dripping stone arches and the crude handprints on the dim walls. He turns, head low, and applies a stunning sequence of sword strokes that he must surely have been taught by an Eldari autarch. You struggle to hold guard. You can't get past their lethal precision. You need room to move. You are not limited by the 4 dimensions of materia. You have the numberless angles of the Empyrean at your command. You concoct an occulting aegis and dodge sideways along the 12th intersection of the immaterial, weaving between thorn trees in the malnourished light to outflank him. He sees you coming in his peripheral mindsight and takes guard with his sword across the 66th oblique, where the skull-colored moon never sets, while carving some radiant sigil on the air with his claws and propelling it at you along the veil of creatures, where barking demented things writhe around you.
As this battle continues, I'm just wondering about Loken and Kolkatus and Litu, how they are seeing this, how they're witnessing this battle. It must be very confusing. And they're only seeing it through one dimension. There's multiple dimensions how this fight is occurring. Yeah. Oh.
You smash the screaming sigil with your maul before it touches you. It shatters like dry clay, and you smell the stink of sigilite magic. Such feeble technique. The damned sigilites were only ever dabblers. Their amateur warpcraft unfit for full manipulation of the etheric. But it was a decoy.
It's effective, Horus. You might think that it's pitiful magic, but it's very effective, clearly.
The spearing fingers of his lightning claw splay wide, and are, for an instant, webbed with squirming voltaics. Then the accumulated charge erupts from his palm and forks towards you. The jagged bolt strikes you, and you feel its fire in your marrow. You are thrown against a limestone pillar, smoke and agony broiling off you in equal measure. His sword flashes down to decapitate you. A killing cut, and a perfect one.
Why did DQVO show that image of the... Oh gosh, Ferris Manners. Even in death, people are still going to... relate decapitation to you, unfortunately.
You recognize it. It is exactly the peerless execution stroke that Sanguinius tried to deliver. Your father is showing you the tricks he's taught his other son.
You jealous?
No matter. The war sword cuts the limestone as easily as a human throat. You have drawn real space aside like a curtain and rolled out of the way. You drop from the ancient limestone cavern into an adjacent layer of the warp's fluid territories. You land on your feet and compose yourself, your limbs still aching from the touch of his lightning. You look around. You need to find a better facet in which to make a stand. You cross the keening gulf of lament, leaping along a long, narrow bridge of living flesh that throbs with febrile neuroplasticity and spans a bottomless aeonic pit. But he has followed you, unfolding materia to pursue you across the interstices of dimensions to the brazen, screaming steps of the Bastion Stair in the realm of the Red. He could track you somehow, catching your scent despite your efforts to ascend the rippling steps and evade through the mists of unreason, and then across the bleak plateau of the blizzard of forgetting. He is drawing on all his gifts, many of them gifts he passed on to his sons. High below you, he is a blood-stained magician transfixing you with his baleful eye so that no pleat of reality can conceal you. A salvo of fireballs burst from that malefic eye, and they fly at you like blazing meteorites along every axis of the infinite planes. They are closing in on you, and will strike simultaneously. You cast a copy of yourself out of old shadows for them to target, and escape the ferocious detonation through a dilating gate of black bone that deposits you behind him. Then you cave in the back of his head with Worldbreaker. But he has channeled the purest cunning. You have killed nothing more than a warp flux simulacrum, an effigy to draw you in, a false twin.
You'll find that there's many false twins everywhere around here. Horus, I still don't think you're even fighting against the real Emperor. You might find that he's still standing where he was the first time you met him or saw him, and he's still talking to the Chaos Gods while you are fighting some imaginary Emperor. That might be happening here. I don't know. I just don't know. Okay, his 4D chess is just beyond.
Real him is deep above you, closing fast. You dart away into the crook of shadows, that dingy, slanting subdimension where nothing is upright and everything is corners. He is a hound at your heels, a loping wolf. He has assumed a lycanthropic aspect, and he has your spore. His sword is an executioner's axe, his canines long, and he drags winter behind him like a pelt. You have no patience for such brute wrath, so you quickly weave a labyrinth to delay him. As the wolf slows, confounded, you tie the labyrinth back upon itself to confuse him and remove its exits to entrap him. How bitterly apt that he draws upon these atavistic qualities to gain advantage. They are old, tired traits he perfected long ago. You, however, have changed and grown beyond him. Your desire to walk down this path of glory, to achieve more than him, to surpass him and supersede him, is a clear demonstration of your intent to reject his musty legacy.
I don't know, Horus. I mean, you are being pushed back. You are even trying to contain him in one of your little dimensions. You are running away. You are running away. You can't handle him.
Others, your rivals, even your allies, have blamed this growth on your arrogance, on your pride, on envy, even.
Yes, that is true. When Erebus gave you, his pitch on joining with the Chaos Gods, he made sure to show you a possible future where the Emperor is venerated as a god, and some of the Primarchs are also venerated as gods, and yet you found out that your statue is not here. You're not being venerated as a god, And you saw that as a problem, a serious problem. So definitely, your weakness is showing to the Emperor. The Emperor knows that you have high ambitions. Everybody knows that you have high ambitions. Erebus knew you had high ambitions of yourself, and he exploited that.
They've said it so much and so often you've begun to believe it yourself. But it's not true.
It's true. If it weren't, you would not be in this position.
You have done all you have done to escape his shadow. To be yourself rather than a pale and lesser imitation. You are not...
It seems you have forgotten that you are a tool, Horus Lupercal. You were meant to serve the Emperor. You weren't meant to think on your own legacy or whatever you want to do. No, you were supposed to obey the laws and the rules and the orders of your creator, like everything else that the Empress created. The Thunder Warriors, the Custodians, the Astartes, and you as Primarchs. You are not any different. You are supposed to follow orders, and that's it. But you decided that you wanted more, that you think that you can do better than the Emperor.
Some mewling by blow infant dumbly trying to copy everything its father does. You are not part of him. Everything you have achieved, from the unraveling of the Imperium to the compliance of Terra and the overthrow of his great plan, you have done to validate your worth. And now your absolute mastery of chaos proves it.
Mastery.
Because that is something he either couldn't do or feared to even try. You are Horus Lupercal, ascendant instrument of chaos. That accomplishment alone proves you are no puppet or inferior copy. You used to be afraid of his power. Now his power is but a drop in your ocean.
Remember what you said? It's not the power that he wields, it's how he uses it. He's using it effectively right now, Horus. It's not about how much power he has. It's how he's using it against you. That counts.
We hear stones splintering and walls collapsing. He has taken the aspect of the great architect and drawn a plan to escape your labyrinth, discerning the infinitesimal weaknesses where walls meet. He has taken the aspect of an obliterator and broken through that weakness with etheric siege engines. He has taken the aspect of a swift and clever raven through the salt-caked and asymmetric chambers of the drifting castle, and the aspect of the steppe horseman to harness that raven's speed into fluid motion that shifts him from the 80th conjunction to the fever meadows of long woe, and then around the vast and root-gnawed base of the towering Tree of Souls to disguise his indirect route of attack. He has taken on the predatory guile of a lion to hunt you along the wild shores of the Sea of Souls, and the fearless certainty of an avenging sun to deliver final illumination. He has a dynasty of aspects to draw upon, a bloodline of faces and meanings and talents. What he can do, you can do better, because you can do anything. You take refuge in the mildewed Marcher fortress that watches the stained margins of the plane of excess, and there take the aspect of terror and flood the dark approaches of the Marches with dread, to slow his advance by creating a soulless tract of ice on which he will fear to tread.
Okay, I don't know if that's going to work against the Emperor, but...
You close the living earth around you, forging tectonic bulwarks and walls of impassable furnace flame. You infect the rusted gates and the creaking sails of windmills with contagious sigils, the buzz with crawling flies and reek of decomposition that will communicate wasting death to any who look upon them. From the hymnals of the never-born, you take sonorous litanies and sow their words across every angle. Your father will not abide a single syllable of those antiphonic chants. They will drive him back. They will drive him mad.
Do you not realize what you are doing here, Horus? You are trapping yourself into a corner. You know, you're trying to keep yourself safe from your father's advance towards you. Where's all this power you're talking about? Where's all the strength that you claim to have? You should be going directly to him and continuing your fight. But instead, you are creating more and more barriers to protect you. So who's really being pushed back here? Who's really afraid here? Who's making mistakes here?
You nail a gladiator's agony into your heart. You gird yourself with its unquenchable rage. You now have the purest fury of all with which to greet him. You wait, simmering. Just for good measure, you ready your execution stroke. You wait. You wait. Your rage begins to cool. You wonder if you really need it. Do you need any of it?
Now you're questioning yourself, huh? Yeah, I know the Emperor has you. Mentally and physically and psychically, he has you.
The flaming bulwark walls, the venerating litanies, the crucifying rage, the fly-blown sigils of mortality. Surely you don't. You are Horus Lupercal. You have vowed to be your own man and prove your own worth. You are not some chimerical combination of other souls. You don't need that. That's what your father does, and you despise his methods. Don't be like him.
Well, you are trying to be like him. Too late.
Listen. The greatest satisfaction will come from beating him as you. Think of it. Think of the pleasure that will bring you the sweet, satiating delight of victory on your terms. You see? You can't deny it. That's what you want. That's what you crave. You let the aspect slip away. You let the walls subside and the sigils expire. You silence the liturgical voices and let go of the rage. You want to meet him as yourself. The lingering satisfaction of too late. You realize that he has taken the aspect of the seducer and neutered your defenses with cloying temptation and indecency. Your father is a master of the aspect. He is and always has been an entire arcana. He has outplayed you, so you change the game.
Oh, okay. What's next?
There is no time to prepare. He's almost on you. You know another arcana, and it's one that will distract him, because it has always obsessed him. As he bursts in on you, a brutal iron fist with overwhelming strength, you draw your hand up to meet him. Your opening hand. Just 3 cards in a classically simple Triuntite spread. The High Priest.
So now we're dealing with the trout cards, okay, or tarot cards.
Still zealous despite his long exile, to curse your father's blood. Then the crone, gibbering and milk-eyed to entangle your father's mind with rancid, meaningless prophecies. Then the silver door, to shut him out. You would never set much store by cartomancy, but you are quite familiar with the tarot symbols and their significances. The cards always seem to you an imprecise method, the mummery of sigillites and warlocks. sometimes effective in divination but always so vague in their elastic meanings, and thus largely unreliable. Now you have ascended as a psychic initiate, you have a new ardent appreciation of their empiric function. They are sigils of imagination, binding intuitive non-verbal definitions to archetypes of the cosmos. The cards are a high and arcane art, capable of subtle interaction and piercing precognitive effect. But here in your realm, awash with the warp, their symbology goes beyond mere precognition. Rather than interpreting outcomes, they can set them. They can determine the user's desired effect and then manifest the cause to produce it. They are spurs to impel destiny to obey your will. Your father has always been preoccupied with the cartomantic art. He constructed his own deck. You wonder if he has ever tried a reading in the warp. You play him at his own game. In shock, he tries to disengage from the sticky cobweb of your opening spread. From his own deck, the grandiose Imperial Tarot, no less, he turns the Pilgrim and utilizes its questing agency to discern a path around the door you have locked in his face. A true pilgrim, in her devotion, will always reach the place he is supposed to be, no matter the length of the road or the hardships of the journey. You aggravate those hardships. You lay the hulk of the major arcana across the silver door and imprison him in its lightless ruin. He has overcome the hulk already in his grueling progress through the flagship to reach you, so you know full well it will not delay him long a second time. But moments are enough for you to turn the galaxy, to stretch distance between you, and the shattered world to burn all his hope. He reads the mutilation of the throne world and gasps in despair. In his deck, the psychoreactive wafers of the familiar Humana, the great host and the lords of terror, burst into flames. You could smell his grief. He chokes as your spread forces him to drink the dust of a vanquished planet. To twist that knife, you turn the more ambitious Antagonosis spread. Justicia to weigh and punish his crimes, the maison dieu to reinforce your court and purify the righteousness of your dispute against him. The Mon Primitif to bleed more centuries from his wounded soul and sap his perpetual vigor, and the Lord of Swords to arm yourself. His desperation increases. Some of these archetypes are old or obscure and do not appear in his prized deck, so he has no counterparts to lay against them, to subvert them. He divines the danger he is in. He turns another card face up. He becomes the fortress of faith, impervious. You become the lightning tower to tear the fortress down.
This battle.
He quickly draws the wild card, the Harlequin, to choreograph an escape from that fiery fate. Its dance is lithe and acrobatic, but it barely carries him clear of the plummeting stonework. He lands like a Felid, drops to a crouch and counters with a warding hand. The pier points spread, all symbols of Concordia. The battleship, for positive control of power. The rogue trader, to harness luck and anchor favorable fortune. And Astarte, for protection. You respond with Discordia, and discard his careful spread. You lay the demon inverted across the battleship, and his power ebbs. Then you lay the demon inverted across the rogue trader, and his luck runs out, and you lay the demon inverted across Astarte, and his protection is lost. You have made a deck of your own. While you waited in the court for him to arrive, you had time on your hands. All the time you wanted. You constructed this Imperial Tarot by hand, while the old four whispered suggestions for the images that might appear on the psycho-reactive wafers.
Then clearly you did not make this deck. It was the Chaos Gods who made this deck.
No two decks are the same. Yours is full of demons. You lay more of them, a double pier point spread, than a spread askew across them in the style known as Mortalite. Ranks of the demon, marching side by side, Cards burn in his hand, consumed before he can lay them. You turn the 8 of Pentacles and they scourge him from all angles. You turn the Revenger to guard your back and the occulted Orphan to blind his mind sight and signify the final severance of your blood from his. He looks aghast. You turn, just for the fun of it. The Dark King, to remind him of his hideous overreach and fatal ambition.
Low blow. But I like it. Okay, Horus. Ooh.
He recoils from it, unwilling to even look at it, and tries the assassin to strike at you. But the Revenger is waiting, and runs the assassin through. Your Exterminatus cancels his illumination. His Aquila and the Knight of Concordia, along with the Magios, are engulfed in the purgation of your neverness. Your dreadful Sagittarius slays his steadfast angel for a second time. It is not your father's power. It's what he does with it. And he can do nothing.
Are you sure? This is just the one part of the games and misdirections the Emperor is using against you. But hey, you will learn. You will learn. You will be illuminated.
He is the beginner here, the amateur.
Really? Really?
And he has no control over the few cards remaining in his hand. He understands that the cards have turned against him. He decides to flee from the tangible destiny that you have spread before him, and which you fully control. He starts to hammer upon the silver door to find a way out. Thus far, you have each made turns on face value, employing the simplest and most literal interpretations. But the cards have deeper, subtler meanings, most not obvious to a novice like him. Death, for example. That ominous card is seldom death, but rather represents a more general negation or ending. The Ragged Fool is often far from foolishness and whimsy, but signifies a seeking innocence or even a purity of trust. The same is true of the next wafer you select. You turn a card. Despoiler. Like death, it is an apparently sinister card, and many fear it. But in truth, it manifests a singularly neutral and controlled power. Its iconography represents an abrupt shift, a sudden and unforeseen reversal of fortune. Imperial readers usually perceive this to be a drastic change to the detriment of the Imperium. But it is only that if you want it to be. You want it to be. You make it your emblem. You lay it askew across the silver door. Despoiler unlocks that door very suddenly as he tries to break through it. You are face to face. Worldbreaker catches him in the throat and cheek, twists his head sideways in a spray of blood and drops him to the deck.
Oh gosh.
His cards spill around him. There are only a few of them left. The other wafers burn. You see the Guardsman, the Throne, the Space Marine, the Knight of Mandatio, the Lantern, and Revelation. A weak reading of ill fortune and in disarray. Little good will it do him. The Emperor must die. Greetings, one and all. If you enjoyed that, you can support me on my Patreon, Discord, Redbubble, or with a channel membership, or simply like, comment, and subscribe to catch any future DQVO videos. And as always, my thanks for watching.
Wow, the Emperor must die. the end and okay, this is the end for the end and the death. Number 3, Horus and the Emperor Clash voiceover part 3 made on the DQVO YouTube channel. Yeah, this battle is going through different, warp facets, if I can say that. Not only dealing with the warp, but also physical conflict between the Emperor and Horus. And yeah, it's been chaotic. It's been going everywhere. We've been teleported to different planets in different timelines. We've been using cards. We have been fighting using the aspects of the different Primarchs. We have been shifting dimensions, avoiding physical attacks. We've also been having sparring battle between the Emperor and Horus. It's just been, different types of battles that Horus and the Emperor are fighting. And, I'm just wondering, how do the spectators feel about this? I know the Chaos Gods can follow what's happening. I'm sure they can follow what's happening. But Calcuttas, Litu, and oh my gosh, I forgot his name. What was his name again? Loken. Yes, sorry, Loken. They must be lost. Because like I stated before, I think they can only see one version of events that are happening in terms of the physical battle between the Emperor and Horus, but they can't see the other dimensional battles that they are waging across many fields of battle. They can't see those ones. They can only see the one that they witness in Horus Lupercal's throne room. And yeah, that battle must be just as exciting for the Chaos Gods, like all the other battles that are occurring between the Emperor and Horus. Really, it must be fun for them. They must be clapping sometimes and enjoying and just, living in the moment of seeing their success in terms of winning over Horus Lupercal and him fighting the Emperor at this very point in time. It seems that Horus does have the upper hand against the Emperor in the end after that card game. He did, hit him with his world breaker on his face. And yeah, I don't know if that is the real Emperor. It might just be another clone, another type of aspect that he is willing to sacrifice. So we won't know until he truly is dead. And even when that happens, there's no surety that he's actually really dead. Yeah, no, the Emperor really, he has a plan within a plan within a plan within a plan. Yeah. This is what it takes to deal with the Chaos Gods, And Horus Lupercal just doesn't get that point. He just doesn't get how far his father has been able to maintain himself like this and still fight against the Chaos Gods and still manage an Imperium of Man. And he thinks that just having battles on different planes of existence or in the warp is really going to give him that victory. You poor summer child. Alright, guys, that's it. Remember, if you want to check out the original video as well as DQVO's YouTube channel, the links are going to be in the description below. Thanks again to AnthraxCrab2222 for the request. Remember, if you guys want to check out my previous reaction to other Warhammer 40k content created by DQVO, the playlist card is going to be at the top. And the next video is also going to be shown this side, yeah. Let me just get it here. It'll be part 4 of this battle. Let's see, where is it? Yes, here it is. The End and the Death. Horus Victory. Voiceover part 4. Yeah, that will be next. And I hope to see you guys there for that one too. Okay, remember, if you like my reaction, give it a like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Click on the notification bell if you want to be up to date with my latest videos, and I'll see you guys there.